As we continue our A Turning Point series this February, we're focusing on Black History Month with a special spotlight on health and wellness. Recently, we've told you about some high-profile African Americans who have died by suicide. Tonight, we take a look at what's impacting increasing suicide rates in the Black community. Brandon Simmons shares the advice of experts and has some advice from parents who lost their own son. A warning, this may be difficult to watch.
And as far as doing anything different, honestly, I don't know.
When you lose a child to suicide, it comes with a feeling of guilt and unbearable pain. That's how Steve and Angelic Young described losing their son, Steve Tate.
For a while, I felt guilty, like what more could I have done? And then I talked to my pastor, and he told me I raised him as best I could.
Steve's first public battles with depression began in his early 20s, his family seeking mental help for him after an unsuccessful suicide attempt. They thought things had improved, but 5 years later, with no warning signs, Steve took his own life in 2017.
It was a whirlwind of things that got to him emotionally and, took him down back to the depression stage.
He was 27 years old, just 1 year older than Ian Alexander Jr., son of Regina King, who recently took his own life, and a few years younger than Miss USA 2019 Chesley Christ, who died by suicide last month at age 30. All three in the age range where African Americans are most likely to die by suicide. This chart from the Suicide Prevention Center illustrating suicide rates of blacks, indicated in blue, are highest amongst 25 to 34-year-olds before declining. Suicide rates peaking much earlier in life than other populations.
Some of those risk factors that put anyone at risk for suicide are higher in the Black community.
Dr. Marshina Murray is a clinical psychologist at Metro Health.
There is a link between trauma or PTSD and suicide. And we think about how Black people experience trauma in this country, in their neighborhoods, in their communities. It's at a much higher rate.
Add to it economic and social determinants.
Access to Black people having resources, transportation, insurance, all those things get in the way whenever people are trying to access mental health services.
When it's all said and done, only 1 in 3 blacks receive the mental help they need. And Dr. Murray says those that do still face barriers, including increased odds of misdiagnosis and the inability to relate to their therapists. Only 4% of clinical psychologists are Black.
When we're thinking about mental health, and we think about the things that Black people will bring to therapy, the racial discrimination and wanting to feel understood, they really need providers that look like them.
Regardless of the circumstances, the Youngs and experts agree. If you think a family member needs help, and more importantly, if they're saying they have a problem, don't downplay it. Listen and get professional help.
Don't feed into the stereotypes of you're strong, you can handle it, you got this, you're not supposed to cry.
It's really a huge problem that must be addressed.
I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.